Today's story begins in the 15th chapter of Matthew. And prior to the passage that we have in our bulletin today, Jesus has just clashed with the Pharisees. He's been in conversation with them over traditions and specifically the ritual of hand washing. He gathers a crowd and he begins to teach them that it is not what goes into our mouths that makes us unclean, but rather what comes out of our hearts. It's not the rituals, but perhaps the action, the impact. And then Jesus and his disciples, they leave Jerusalem and Galilee area and they head up north towards the Mediterranean coast, the cities of Tyre and Sidon. This is Gentile land. They are outside of Israel land, so to speak, and they themselves are indeed the outsiders in this story. And yet, Matthew, the gospeler of our story today, uses the term Canaanite when referring to the woman in the story. It's important to know that the term Canaanite is deliberately an old-fashioned word, that folks weren't necessarily Canaanites at that time. It was an old-fashioned term to signify or to identify that even this local woman is an outsider of outsiders. So Jesus and his disciples are the outsiders, and yet they encounter a local woman outside of the outsiders. Keep this in mind when you start to hear in the story about children and dogs and bread and all that interplays. So where our gospel picks up is a Canaanite woman from the local area came out, saw Jesus and the disciples, and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." And yet Jesus did not respond at all. His disciples came to him and said, "Send her away. She keeps shouting after us." Jesus replies, "I have been sent only to the lost sheep and the people of Israel." But she kept coming and she knelt before Jesus and said, "Lord, help me." He replied to her, "It is not fair to take the children's bread and to toss it to the dogs." And she said, "Yes, Lord. Yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Are you hungry, Grace? No. Jesus answered, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And her daughter was instantly healed. Now, I invite you to wonder alongside me about the story as we create this sermon together by sharing the wisdom among us. Jesus and his disciples, they walked out of Jewish territory into foreign lands themselves. They met this local woman, an outsider of outsiders, and yet the disciples immediately dismiss her. They want to send her away. I wonder what's going on for the disciples in this moment. I wonder why they wanted her gone. We've got Mother Cara and perhaps Anya have microphones. Just raise your hand and they will come to you so that you can be heard. I wonder what's going on. What do you think is going on with the disciples? They just want her gone. Yeah, Rick?
I think there are multiple points throughout all the Gospels where the disciples have a tendency to show sort of an exclusivity and sort of an ownership when it comes to Jesus and the message and the relationship to God. So I think it's kind of part and parcel of that same idea of she's not one of us or she's not part of us, and kind of trying to keep the message for themselves, trying to keep that special status for themselves. So, make her go away. We don't need the outsider right now.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Dory?
I think oftentimes the disciples took the easy route, and she was outside of their boundaries of comfort, and they felt out of control because they didn't know how to handle her. And I think that carries over into a lot of our lives, that we push away things that are difficult or we don't understand.
Yeah.
So she was victim to that.
Yeah, beautiful. Rob?
I think the disciples also often try to guess what they think Jesus actually wants them to say, especially Peter does this all the time. So they see Jesus not answer this woman, and they're like, oh, I know, he wants her gone, like, send her away. So I think there's an aspect of that as well.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, Jim in the front? Yep, Anya's coming.
First thing that popped in my head when you said that was, she's my mom, not yours.
Right, that territorialism. Yeah, kind of what Rick was saying. That was great. Thank you. I wonder if there's an experience that you could share out loud, a time when you felt like someone's need was reaching you as an interruption that you just wish would go away, right?
Anybody who's ever had kids?
What did you say? Something about kids? Nothing at all. Nothing that needs to be mic'd. Got it. Totally get it. Yep. Parenthood in general. Oh, yes. Clara. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think for me it's, I understood what, or at least my interpretation of what the disciples did. It's hard to be an outsider yourself, and then when you get comfortable, then when you see another outsider, you're like, oh, okay, now I am just getting comfortable myself, and then and I've had that because I work in IT, so there aren't that many women, and sometimes when I get comfortable and I see somebody else who's an outsider, I can see that they need help, but I'm like, I just got comfortable myself.
Right,
So
you just did all that work,
myself,
right? Yeah.
I'm comfortable, I can afford to help somebody else who's where I was a few years ago.
Yeah, thank you. Others? Up in the choir, Amy?
When I'm working from home, I tie my mobile phone to my work phone. And so if I'm in the middle of something that needs a lot of concentration and my phone rings, and I have to answer it, because even if I don't know the number, because it might be an exhibitor, and it turns out to be some spammer.
Yeah. I wonder if the prior conversation with the Pharisees and Jesus teaching with the crowds, all around ritual versus heart, influenced Jesus and the disciples' decisions. Let me say more. I'm wondering if ignoring the woman, right? Because Jesus did not reply at all. I wonder if ignoring the woman was kind of like doing rituals only, and yet responding and acting from this heart of compassion and actually engaging with her was more like what comes out of our heart has the impact. I wonder if there's a time in your life where the situation called for heart action instead of just plain routine. You recall a moment. What was required of you? Martha. I think Mother Carr is coming around. as she looks down, stares down the family chapel folks. Martha. Yeah, fair. Just checking.
I feel like doing the rituals and doing the rituals well and following the rules is comfortable, expected, and working with those heart things is risky. Maybe you're not following the rules. Maybe somebody's going to get you.
Yeah, right. Well said. Thank you. Others? Yes. Lissa?
As a special education teacher, I confront this all the time. There is the curriculum and the by-the-book instruction, and they're kind of getting pushy about doing it just that way. And because I've always been a rebel, I don't have a hard time saying no to that.
Yeah.
I just no, that's not going to work. And I do what's right.
Yeah.
But there are teachers who don't have my rebellious nature, who kind of just stick to the curriculum. And it's no, we have to teach the content. And if that means that the people who never work with kids are wrong about how to do it, then so guess what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically that the ritual isn't how we're going to get it done.
Right. Adapting, courage, wisdom for that particular person and situation. That's great. Thank you. Alicia in the back?
So right now, I'm in a situation where heart actions are routines and following laws and rules.
Nice.
And it is an interesting place to be because you have to bring that bravery every day of heart and law.
Yeah. Beautifully said. Absolutely. So when the woman first cries out to Jesus for mercy, and we know that he doesn't respond, not a word, it's just complete silence. And perhaps you felt silence from God at some point in your life. I wonder what the silence is doing in the story today. What does the silence do within the story? Listen again?
Also from teaching that wait time is really important. That if you just let people call things out, it doesn't give them time to stop and think. And so we give wait time because it forces you to think about it.
Yeah, beautiful. I think we have Sarah up in the choir.
I wonder, as I'm listening to this story, whether this is kind of a turning point in the history of our faith, where Jesus goes from thinking he's just there for the lost children of Israel and goes, wait, maybe there's a message that is for a much broader community of people that I hadn't even considered before. And that in that silence, he's maybe wrestling with that question of wait, could I help more people? Maybe I didn't even understand the full breadth of my mission here on earth.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. It's in, oh, yep, go ahead. Betsy? I'm sorry, Anya up front here.
To follow on that, it seems as though his first statement about taking the food away from the proper people is a very human kind of statement. And then she actually turns that on its head, and apparently this is the one time in the Bible that that occurs. And his second response is his divine response.
Absolutely, thank you. And that's a beautiful segue to the next question. It's like you read my notes. So, because the woman, she doesn't argue with him. She doesn't say, no, give me the bread. Or no, there's enough for everyone. She actually kind of enters into his response. She agrees with Jesus's picture and then says, yes, Lord, yeah, of course. But then finds room within his story, finds room within his response. Even the dogs eat the crumbs, right? So I wonder what to make of this, that is the interaction that we have between them, that it's not by rejecting his words, but working within them, right? I wonder if there has been a time in your life where either you've had that sort of almost miraculous exchange with another, or just simply where, the breadcrumbs were enough. Sometimes it's just a crumb of grace or mercy or compassion that can have a huge impact. What if there's a story that you're willing to share? A time when just a crumb had a huge impact.
At the 8 o'clock, somebody talked about being in a situation where someone was in tears, and she went up and gave them a hug on her way out of the office. And it reminded me of the week in the hospital when my dad had learned he was dying, and I was on shifts with his wife to always be there with him. And so it was really exhausting, and often I didn't have time to do much else. So I went to the cafeteria, and there was a woman who had been taking my order all week. And toward the end of the week, she just looked at me and she's like, "Are you okay? Like, I know this is a scary place to ask that question, but are you all right?" And I didn't share much with her, but she came around the counter and gave me a hug, and that it felt like she was Jesus to me in that moment.
Yeah. Thank you, Mother Cara. Yeah. Martha? And then Lee?
I volunteer at Just Neighbors, and I do interpreting with people who are trying to find a way to stay in this country legally. And I leave that place thinking that it was just a crumb. It was not much that I did in the scope of all that they're going through.
Yeah.
And I really pray for the crumbs,
Yeah.
that they all come together.
Yeah. Beautiful. Lee?
I think today I'm hearing this story as the outsider. I'm remembering a time when we were adopting our son from Moldova in the early 90s, and people had not seen Americans. They weren't even allowed to travel there. And here we were there to adopt a child, and there were rumors about Americans that they were not really legitimate about adopting a child. They were going to harvest the organs and sell them. So people were a little weary of us. But then we were able to adopt our son, and we asked if we could bring him to the hotel. I said, "Can we bring the baby to the hotel?" And they said, "A baby what?" Because some people had like cows or sheep that they would keep by their apartment, and said, "No, a baby, a child." They said, "We don't know. We've never had a child in this hotel before." So we brought the child, we brought our son to the hotel to take care of him as we were processing the paperwork. And our interpreter's sister-in-law lived on a farm outside the town and decided that our baby needed healthy milk, so she took the train to bring milk for our child.
Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Jesus tells the woman, "You have great faith. Great is your faith." And in all of Matthew's gospel, there's only one other person that Jesus says this to and praises in this way, and that's the Roman centurion, another outsider. While often we hear again and again, he say to his disciples, "O ye of little faith," right? We heard that last week. I wonder what this story is showing us about where great faith turns up. I wonder what this story is showing us about where great faith turns up. We've got Amy and Robin.
I think it's because the outsiders going to Jesus, who has come for the Israelites, or at least that's the general impression, their faith has to be that much the greater for them to even hope that he will help them.
Yeah, fascinating. Thank you, Amy. Robin?
I guess my comment isn't all that different. The woman is in a situation where it can't be just chalked up to, I'm following the rules. I'm doing what I'm expected to do. As compared to even Jesus' followers.
Yeah, fair. Thank you. Wonder where the good news is for you in today's story. Wonder where the good news is for you in today's story, Alicia?
I love the piece about persistence, of like, oh no, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be here until you do something. Yeah. And I think it gives me hope.
Yeah.
That we do that.
Yeah. Thank you. Sandy up front.
What it says to me is her great faith came out of her love for her child. So she was going to go that extra bit to save her child.
Absolutely. Bring it back to parenting, for sure. Well, that's the question that you can continue to take with you this week, where the good news is for you and how wisdom showed up and inspired your heart and your mind and your imagination today. Invite you to keep listening to the good news of Scripture and to our lives, and asking and receiving questions and wondering, for indeed God is present in all of these. We're going to close our storytelling with a chime of the bell, a couple deep breaths, and then we can return. Thank you all for wondering together. You can remain where you are or find a more comfortable spot for the rest of the service.